Hello and welcome. In this lecture we are going to be fixing those bugs with ray tracing so that we can kill the character, they aren't killing themselves, and we can run over the spot where they've been by disabling their capsule collider. Let's dive in and see how to achieve this. So we've got some weird bugs going on at the moment. So we've got one where the enemy AI essentially seems to be shooting itself in the face, as you can see by the fact that it's soon going to sprawl out dead on the floor, like so. But not only that, it carries on shooting as it is dead. So we're going to solve some of those problems progressively. Let's see what is going on. So first of all, the shooting itself in the face. That could be quite easy to see what's going on. So if we go over into our gun CPP, and have a look at how this is working. We're currently doing this line trace single by channel to find the hit result, and we're doing it starting from the location that is the player viewport, viewpoint, sorry. And with the AI, we've already discussed this, it's going to be somewhere around the eye level. That's where it's going to be tracing from. And you can see that there might be a little bit of an issue here. If you start tracing from his eyes, you're going to hit this capsule. In fact, we have the problem ourselves as well, the only distinction being that because we have this over the camera view, over the shoulder view, then we essentially don't get the issue because we circumvent that capsule and don't hit it, but we could be hitting our own capsule just as easily if our camera were in a different location. So how do we stop that? So if we go back and define this, we'll create a struct, the F collision query parameters I'm going to call params, and then we can add some actors that should be ignored as part of our line trace. We do this by doing params.add ignored actor. And then what are the actors we should ignore? Well, the first one is simply the gun, so this. And the second one is the owner pawn, so params.add ignored actor get owner. So basically the owner of the gun should not be hit by his own gun. I mean, obviously you might want to be able to hit your own pawns with the gun, but no, not in this case. So the params we are going to pass in as the last argument to our line trace single by channel, and then we're going to save and build and see if this works. So now ideally if we go and hit play, we should see the, yep, we're getting the particle effect on our capsule, on our player, and eventually our health should go down to 0 and we should end up sprawled out on the floor. There we go, sprawled out on the floor somewhere. We seem to have fallen through. I don't know where our actual player has gone, but we are still spawned on the floor. But here is another bug. You can see that he's still shooting at us and he's still shooting and hitting a capsule. And the same thing actually happens if I were to kill this guy. Let's go ahead and kill him. There you go, getting the there. It's much harder without something to point at on the screen, but you're able to get him. But he's still shooting at me. And what we would have also seen is that his capsule is still active. So there's a couple of things we want to do when our characters get killed, both the AI and the player. So let's go to the shooter character CPP and let's find our take damage function. And we basically want to add an if statement in here. We want to say if is dead. So basically we've taken damage for the last time. We're now dead. We need to do some stuff. We need to do some cleanup. The first thing we need to do is detach the controller from this character. The controller is no longer in charge of this character. The character's dead. You can't do anything. That's going to stop us from being able to shoot. So the AI will no longer be shooting when it's dead. That sort of makes sense. And furthermore, we're no longer going to be able to try and move around in the world. All of that is being disabled by doing a detach from controller pending destroy. That's what we're going to do. Then the next thing is we want to switch off that capsule collision. So we're going to do the get capsule component, and then we're going to need to do a hash include up at the top for the capsule component. So hash include components and the capsule component over there. And then scrolling back down to our take damage, we're going to do an arrow operator, and we're going to do a set collision enabled. So we kind of want to set it not enabled. That's why we're doing a set collision enabled, weirdly enough. So it's going to be e collision enabled : no collision. So we're setting our capsule collider to no collision, which should help us right out. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and build and see if that's helped. Well, the compile at least was successful. Let's go and hit play. And so he's shooting at me. I can shoot him till he's dead. There we go. He's dead. I can go over his capsule and I'm no longer colliding with it. You can also see that he is no longer shooting his gun, which is fantastic. And let's also see if he goes and kills us, what's the behavior. So we just have to wait for the 10 shots. And you can see I sprawl out dead just as much as he did. And he keeps shooting at me. That's okay. He's no longer hitting an empty collider. And I can no longer control my camera because I am dead. Awesome. So we've got the basics of a first-person shooter here. We've got an enemy that follows us, shoots at us. We can shoot at it. Both of us have health. Both of us can die. So the next thing is to actually set up some game end conditions so that we can display a nice message to our player saying that you've lost or that you've won if you killed all of the players in the level. And that will be the subject of the next lecture. See you there.